Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in for our webinar today. We're just going to give it a few more minutes so we can, let everybody join us, and then we're going to get started right away. So while everybody's joining, if you guys want to, if you know how to work the chat, all you have to do is go down on the bottom and you can click on the chat function down there, and you'll just want to make sure that you can select, send message to all attendees and panelists. And if you guys want to in the chat, feel free to put where you're from, just so I have a little bit better idea of who I'm chatting to and where you guys are all located. Awesome. Thanks, Alexis. Queensland. Awesome. Hi, David. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good to see you too. New York, Oakville, Ontario, Dallas. Great. Hi, me too. Houston. Fabulous. Awesome. So we've got a lot of people from the States, a few from Canada. Great to see. We're just going to give it a, oh, hi, Joanne. Fabulous. We'll just give it a few more minutes here. We're just going to wait until just after 7 to get started, so everybody has time to log in and join us. So for those of you that don't know, I am from Saskatchewan, Canada. So that is directly in the middle of Canada. It's right above, I guess, Washington and South Dakota, for those of you that are from the United States. Oh, you've been here. Great. That's awesome. So I'm located in Regina, which is a couple of hours above the border. Got lots of people from Maryland. I've seen a couple of them. That's awesome. Super exciting, guys. New Jersey, that's awesome, me too. Washington, that's fabulous. I'm like 5 hours above you. You head north. Great. So lots of people from all over the States and Canada. That's awesome. Do we have anybody from Western Canada? I know we've got some people in Ontario and Nova Scotia. I love that you guys are all over the place. It's so exciting. Edmonton, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Ashley. Nigeria, fabulous. So just so you guys know, for everybody to be able to see all of your chats, you have to click on the chat button below and then make sure that you've selected so that it goes to all panelists and attendees, and then everybody will be able to see where you're from and all the things that you're typing. Of course, if you don't want people to see all the things you're typing, then don't select that, but that way everybody is able to read where everyone is from. Pittsburgh, Colorado, Georgia, awesome. Wisconsin, fabulous. More Texas. Rome. Awesome, Charlene. It's nice to see a few people from overseas. We'll just give it a few more minutes and then we're going to get started. Ghana, awesome. So for those of you just joining, my name is Angela. I'm located in Saskatchewan, Canada, which is right in the middle. Feel free to type in the chat where you are located. And then we'll get started here right away. Always wanted to go to Saskatchewan. That's awesome. I like Saskatchewan. A lot of people think it's boring because it's very flat here, but I like farm life. We have a lot of fields, lots of farming. Agriculture is very popular here, so that's a lot of what we do. So we'll just go ahead and get started here. So thank you so much for tuning in. So again, as I said before, my name's Angela Hodel. I run a event and wedding planning company in the province of Saskatchewan. It's called Imagine Events. We've been operating for over 10 years. And when I first started, I was a solopreneur. So I did everything myself. I wore all the hats. I did all the bookkeeping, all the marketing, you name it. I did it, and I did all the events by myself as well. If you want to follow us online, we're on, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok even, and you can follow us. We're at Imagine Events SK, all one word. So when we first opened business, we started only doing weddings, of course, and then eventually we rebranded into doing more corporate events about 5 years ago, just because we wanted to expand our market. And I've hired and trained probably anywhere between 8 and 10 planners that currently work for me. And we're quite a diverse group of people. Everybody has their own skill set. They're all interested in doing different types of events. Me personally, I really specialize in doing modest budgets. So, really modest budget weddings. I also do a lot of nonprofit fundraisers, and I've taken a really big, keen interest in doing LGBTQ events. So weddings, pride festivals, that type of thing is something that I do a lot in southern Saskatchewan as well. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Zoom, I'll just give you a couple of features about it. So at the bottom of the screen, which you guys have been playing with already, you'll see the chat button, of course. So if you click it, you can chat with all of us, your fellow attendees. Just be sure to select the send messages to all panelists and attendees. And then you'll also see that there's a Q&A button also in the middle at the bottom. So you can ask questions throughout the webinar, and at the end, I'll do my best to answer what I can based on the questions that you're interested in. And of course, throughout the webinar, of course, there are going to be some polls taking place, so you can simply select the response when the poll pops up on the screen. And the webinar is going to be about 45 minutes long, and then at the end, we'll have some time, 10-15 minutes to do a question and answer. I can answer most of your questions at that time. So I guess I'll just start out and talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. So specifically, obviously, what to do when all your events are canceled or everything changes last minute due to things like a pandemic. We're also going to talk about being creative and really focusing on how to pivot your business when the industry changes. We're also focusing on managing stress, yours and your clients. And then lastly, just how to use your time wisely and what you're doing right now, given the situation that we're all in. So just for starters, I'm just going to take a quick poll just to find out how many of you are students with QC Event School. So there'll just be a quick poll that will pop up on your screen here. And if you just want to take a quick answer, and then we'll see the results together here. We'll give you about 30 seconds to a minute to just select. I drink a lot of water, so if you see me with a can, that's what it is. Big fan of sparkling water. I don't know what anybody else likes to drink, but that's my go-to. So Mary, your poll should pop up in the middle of your screen. The poll's finished here. So we've got 72% of you are currently students with QC, and about 30% are not. So that's great to know. Also, you guys want to go onto Facebook and make sure that you are a part of QC Events School's virtual classroom. So there is a group on there. You can go join, receive lots of guidance from the school, learn tips for your assignments, and you can connect with fellow students from around the world. So I'll just have them also put the link for you in the side chat as well. There it is. So you can click and join that also. Okay, so we're gonna do another poll. Hope it works out for everybody again. Just a couple more questions for you. So one of them is, where are you in your event planning career? And also, how many years have you been in business? So I'll just give that some time for you guys to answer there. Hi, Tess. Great to see you too. So we have a couple of people that the poll is not showing up for. So I'm going to leave that with the tech gurus at QC. They are taking care of the polls. So just so that they know. So hopefully that's not a problem for a lot of people. Okay, so some helpful hope for some people. If you're on your phone or using a phone, you might have to tap the screen to get the menu to show up. That also might be applicable if you're on something like an iPad. Then we'll just see the results of the poll. Okay. So lots of people currently studying to be a wedding and event planner, which is really great. Some people already in the industry. And a lot of you aren't even in business yet, and that is completely okay. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and then some of you are just in the beginning stages. Okay, fabulous. That's great to know. Okay, so first things first, we're just going to talk about what you're doing right now. So, I mean, events are canceled, right? So now what? Alternatively, if you're just getting started, you're probably thinking to yourself, so what am I supposed to do, right? Like, I can't start my business because there's nobody booking events. Well, that's not all true. But first things first, I think the most important thing is to just grieve and move on. For me personally, when COVID hit, I had an amazing 2020 season booked. I had 40 to 50 weddings booked on top of a bunch of different corporate events. It was honestly going to be my best season yet. And then halfway through March, I saw every wedding cancel up until the end of August. I just saw $50,000 go down the drain, basically. And it was absolutely devastating for me. So, I mean, me personally, I didn't sleep well. I would work, you know, a couple of hours during the day. I would nap all day. I would get up in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep. I'd be up for 4 or 5 hours in the middle of the night. Me and my husband were constantly, you know, fighting at each other's necks all the time because I was always cranky. And then, you know, you just get to that point where you just kind of have to accept that things are the way they are and get through it. And I think the biggest thing is just focusing on how things are, and you need to really look at what you can do at this point. So it's developing packages and services for whatever the industry looks like now, when it returns even back to normal, because the industry is going to change even in 10 years, pandemic or no pandemic, things are going to change. And us as planners, we're creative, so we need to use that creativity to diversify and grow however things look in the industry. Work your magic, come up with packages, new ideas for you to sell your services as an event planner. So one of those is virtual events, and I'm going to focus a little bit on that. So just looking at you know, the different types of events that you can do. So you're going to want to handle, you know, corporate events and weddings, but they're of course very differently. And when it comes to doing them virtually, I personally find doing corporate events a little bit easier. But the biggest difference in them is the actual online aspect, right? So you're going to really want the involvement of a technology company. And so you really need to outsource the things that you don't know how to do. As an event planner, you're not going to be the caterer or the photographer, all those types of things, and you would not expect yourself to do that at an event. So you should not expect yourself to have to be the tech guru, you know, when it comes to doing a virtual event. So some of the things that they're going to be taking care of, is things like your audio, the sound, lighting, broadcasting software is very important. They'll ship your equipment in advance. And they'll have experts that you can consult with virtually. And it's really, of course, always important to have a test before the actual event happens. And then really have that tech person be there to oversee the event or be on call just to make sure that things run smoothly from the technology side, so that you don't have to troubleshoot that. It's just one less thing that you have to worry about. And then make sure you just have troubleshooting guides for your guests, that type of thing. So firstly, we'll just take a look at weddings specifically. So, I mean, clients, right? For people who are postponing their weddings, there's lots of different options. They can still have their intimate wedding this year, just following those public health guidelines, whatever they might be in your area. So you'll want to include a lot of safety measures as part of your planning packages so that all the guests feel safe and secure. So that might be, you know, personal protection equipment, hand sanitizer, just making sure that all of those guidelines are followed. I would personally recommend, you know, designating someone to specifically film the event. And then, of course, again, pre-plan all the technology components. So what platform are you going to be using? Facebook Live, Zoom, YouTube video, right, has a live option. And then you're going to want to make sure that you have that invite sent out to all the different guests, you know, whoever essentially the couple wants to invite to their wedding. And then the biggest thing is you need to pre-plan and gather all the items and details that you're going to need in order to film their wedding. And it's, in this case, it can be more than just a ceremony, right? So, I mean, they could broadcast having dinner together. They could broadcast toasts. So you can have an MC be the host on Zoom, and they can, you know, talk to different people, ask people to do the toasts. You know, Uncle Bob can toast to the bride. And so you can still have those online aspects. And then, of course, they can even share their first dance, right? Play the music on the iPod. The first dance is happening in the living room. Everybody is toasting to them from their own house with their own wine glass, with their own favorite wine. All that can happen. And you can still have, you know, a 2 to 3 hour event that is going to be absolutely beautiful for the couple. And they'll just have that intimate, you know, ceremony. And those people that were at their intimate ceremony, whatever guidelines are, 5 people, 10 people, can be at the actual event itself doing the social distancing, but then having someone in charge to do the video portion. So that's you know, how I would look at approaching taking your wedding virtual. Now, for corporate events, the components really are all the same. So you're still going to run everything online, but your client is essentially now a business. It's a company, right? But the success of the event is actually going to be measured. So one of the things is, you know, all the speakers will have to be doing their you know, talking or presentations from their own houses. And then, you know, everybody will just have to take part that way specifically. I can give you an example of one way that my company really pivoted at an event that we recently did. So we normally plan, you know, walk, run type fundraisers for different nonprofits. And, you know, we've been working on it for months. We do the same event every single year. And then like essentially 4 weeks before the event was supposed to happen, basically, you know, it was, oh no, well, we have to cancel, right? COVID hit, what are we gonna do? So we couldn't have the actual event site. So what we quickly did is moved everything online and ended up encouraging people to walk or run where they are and set themselves up online fundraising pages where people could, you know, register, ask their friends and family to, you know, donate to them online. And essentially we, you know, got rid of the old style, like forms. People aren't collecting cash anymore, right? It's all done through email, Facebook, that type of thing. And the event date, again, was all online. So we really asked, you know, participants to use their social media, and on the actual event date when we had the walk, people were, you know, encouraged to walk where they are, you know, or do a run, or, you know, walk the stairs in their apartment building, you know, dance in their living room, all those types of things, just to be active however they could that was safe for them. And then using their social media, you know, pictures, tag the nonprofit, use hashtags, and it really created a huge buzz online on the day of the event. And then the nonprofit would take all of that, reshare it, and it really leveraged a lot of more donations by resharing everybody's, you know, photos and videos and all that kind of thing. The other thing that we had to do was really take the time to pivot sponsors. So, I mean, we had a lot of sponsors for these types of events. And when you have event sponsors, they want to still get the same value for their money that they've given to the nonprofit, right? So there's no event site activation, but we still need to give our committed sponsors that same level of recognition and the same marketing reach. So, you know, basically the same number of eyeballs on their logo that they would have gotten if they were there on the actual day of the event. So that is, you know, consisted of us taking their logo, putting it on pre-event emails, post-event emails, doing lots of social media posts, thanking those different sponsors, putting their logos on thank you letters to the participants, to the donors, that type of thing, so that they still got the same amount of recognition. And overall, I mean, the fundraiser, you know, is only down by 20 to 30% in fundraising, which is really good considering, you know, we thought it could be a lot worse than that, right? Especially when you're thinking of a nonprofit and it's the, you know, middle of a pandemic and lots of people are on, you know, they get laid off from their job, they don't have that much income coming in, that type of thing. But instead, I think it just, you know, made people want to donate more to the nonprofit, which I think was a really great option for that nonprofit. So basically, you know, in these types of situations that we're in, it's all about being innovative. You know, you can manage your same successful event, but you just have to do things differently, right? And if you're just getting started, the industry is going to look different in 5, 10, 20 years anyways, with or without that pandemic. So the biggest thing is just roll with the punches. You know, it'll be really stressful, but I assure you, you can manage it. Clients hire us to manage this type of stuff all the time, right? We troubleshoot, that's what we do. And this is just another way of troubleshooting. So next, I just want to talk about stress a little bit, because obviously with the pandemic, that creates a lot of stress, not only for your clients, but for yourself as well, whether you're starting a business or whether you're already in business. So if you guys don't mind, can you just take a few minutes and go to the chat? And I'd just like to know how you guys are currently dealing with stress, you know, personal stress, client stress, all that type of stuff. I just love to know. So again, just go down, click on the chat, and let me know how you guys manage. Yoga's fabulous. I love yoga, definitely. Meditation, right? Spend a lot of time, you know, breathing, relaxing, absolutely. Yep, a lot of people like to get active, running, cycling, walking, fabulous. Kickboxing. Lots of great things. Napping, journaling, prayer, definitely a lot of prayer, regardless of what your faith is. Some people avoid the news. I agree. Sometimes, a lot of the time, you get fed a lot of information. You know, regardless of whether it's through the news, through Facebook, social media, you are getting a lot of information about the pandemic and other terrible things that are happening right across, you know, Canada and the US right now. Lots of tragic stuff going on. So I totally understand that sometimes it's nice to just take a step back and not have to intake so much news, although it's very important information. Sometimes you can overload yourself a little bit. Yeah, lots of people say meditation. So, I mean, me personally, I'm kind of a busybody. So I like to keep myself busy doing different things like crafts. I do a lot of different like crafting. I'm not a painter by any means, and this spring I decided I was going to paint. They are not good. They're very bad, but I found that enjoyable. Just another way to release that creativity. And it's a great time, of course, to do studying, that type of thing as well, especially if you're laid off from, you know, your, you know, permanent day job, that type of thing. You can do lots of, you know, refocusing yourself. Baking. Oh, Ginger makes homemade coronavirus masks. Fabulous. That could be a whole new side business, right? Everybody's looking for coronavirus masks, definitely. Really great. Absolutely. Great, guys. Fabulous. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about managing your own stress. I'm going to take some water. Okay, so in regards to your own stress, I mean, everybody handles stress really differently. So it's really important, of course, to do what works best for you. You guys have a lot of really great ideas. And it looks like a lot of you have found ways to release that stress. Like I said before, you know, when the pandemic hit, it took me a couple of weeks to just really get used to my new normal, right? So, you know, I'd work for a couple of hours, I'd sleep for 5 or 6 hours, you know, and then sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be working then. And so it really took me quite a while to work out a regular schedule. And I think the biggest thing for me was creating myself a new schedule, what my new schedule is going to look like. You know, so that for me was involved in getting up early, getting in a workout, having breakfast before I even would open my computer. And that's not something typically I did 6 months ago, but that's what works for me now. And I think that's the other important thing to focus on, is that your stress level is going to change. And as you have to adapt to the new normal, you know, you need to create a new normal set of habits for yourself as well. So the things that, you know, helped me stay on track specifically was really busying myself. So I might not have very much work this year, but instead I'm really focusing some time to work on my business, right? And that's, some of you that are already in business might already be doing that. But for those of you that aren't in business yet, this is a really great time to work on your business. Get things started. You know, a lot of that stuff that you might have rushed through before because you were so excited to get started, now you have a lot of time to really be able and focus and really do lots of pre-planning. So when I'm not actually working on business stuff, which is a lot of the time, because I love event and wedding planning, so I really spend a lot of time on my business, and that's just my personal choice. But when I'm not doing that, I'm really focused on me, so I'm starting to, eat a lot healthier. I've started a new workout program. I've done a lot of things that I normally wouldn't do, so like excessively spring cleaning the house, tackling a lot of home reno that's been on my list for a really long time, that I keep putting off. But again, that's what works for me. And I think one of the best things that you can do is create a list of things that make you feel good, right? Baths, pet time, reading, and then schedule those things in your day. Every single day, spend some time to work on you, whatever that is. And if you like yoga, if you like reading, baking, whatever, schedule that time to do that, even if it's only 15, 20 minutes, because it's really going to, I find calm you. It calms me anyways. And at this point too, your clients are also going to feel super stressed. So, I mean, imagine postponing your wedding after you have the whole thing planned 2 or 3 times due to uncertainty, right? I mean, they keep saying, oh, we might have a second wave, that kind of stuff. So imagine having to postpone your wedding again because there's another wave of COVID that comes through. That would be absolutely tragic. So in regards to your client stress, I would spend a lot of time offering reassurance, have lots of strong communication with them, and overall have compassion, right? I'm sure that they know that you're going through a rough time, but so are they. It's so important to have your client's best interests at heart. So be that listening ear, reassure them, let them know that you're going to make it work, whatever they decide to do. If they want to go virtual, that's great. If they don't, they want to cancel, postpone, whatever they want to do, try to work with them. There's lots of different options for people's events, and for clients that do have to postpone, it's so good if you can work with them to try to save their event. And I totally understand everybody's policies are different, in regards to things like deposits, retainers. But me personally, I've just really focused on trying to work with each couple depending on their wants and needs. I've really asked my clients to look at postponing their event, and I transfer over their deposits to a new date because frankly, I don't want to lose their money, and I don't want to lose them as a client. Other clients, I've had to give them a full refund just because going forward the relationship wasn't going to work, or their new plans I really couldn't accommodate, even though I don't want to lose that deposit, but I'm trying to work with my clients best interest at heart always. So you have to kind of take each couple as they come and focus on them and what's going to work best for them. And then for new clients that are booking with you now, just be really upfront about their wedding or their event plans, So if the event is happening really soon, talk about all the what ifs, right? What type of measures do you have to put in place for safety? What if they need to cancel last minute? Are they open to switching it into a virtual event? Is it okay to postpone? Can they, have a smaller amount of people? So when you're booking those new clients, if you just have that upfront discussion, then you kind of know what you're looking at before you start planning their event, especially if it's happening in the next, 6 to 8 months. I mean, we don't even know what's going to happen. So everything is kind of up in the air. And so lastly, I guess now that you have more free time, or again, if you're just starting your business and you have found you have lots of free time, you can get a lot done. I know I am. So this is a really great time to work on your business, not in your business. A lot of people work in their business. We do it every day, but we don't get a lot of time to actually work on the business. So I'm going to do another quick poll and just find out how often you guys work on your business as opposed to in your business. And for those of you that don't know the difference, like working in your business is the day-to-day tasks, planning someone's event, but working on your business is really looking at things like your marketing strategy, your finances, that type of thing, any new packages, revamping your website, all that type of stuff. So if you just want to take a few seconds and answer another poll here, then we can find out what you guys are currently doing. Tess, I love the small stylized shoots. That's a super fabulous idea. And it's okay that you're just starting your business at this point as well, because this is going to give you a lot of help in regards to some things that you can really focus on right now while things aren't super busy in the event planning industry, or while we're still, you know, in that current limbo of what's going to happen next. Okay, so wow. Okay, so 30% of you never get the chance to work on your business, and 35% of you do it once a week. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. So for those of you who never get the chance to work on your business, now you have it. Do it. I can't recommend it enough. Stay in the game, right? I don't know how long it's been since you've revamped your packages or anything like that, but now is the time to do it. Everybody needs a fresh up, you know, a freshening up here and then, right? So this is the, of course, perfect time to upgrade your training, specialty services. So a lot of things like, you know, event decor, taking that, you know, business acceleration. If you're in the first, you know, few years of your business and you're looking to expand or grow, maybe you really want to focus on doing luxury weddings or destination weddings, I don't know, festivals, really whatever floats your boat. So I mean, again, currently 50% off for existing students. And if you guys aren't a student, you know, if you enroll in that foundation course, you'll get a specialty course for free. So it's definitely a lot of bang for your buck right now. Absolutely. So for those of you that are in business or are just starting out, one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is your branding. So, you know, I would highly recommend working on your website, update your photo gallery, and really work on fine-tuning your branding details. And so, you know, if you don't have a brand, I would say it's a really great time to develop one. And when we talk about brand, I don't just mean your logo and your colors, but it goes a lot more than just that. So even like your brand language. So how do you talk to your clients and your vendors? How do you treat them? How do you want your clients to feel when they're interacting with you as a company? Do you want them to feel calm, relaxed? And is that how your clients actually feel when they work with you? Because if that's what you're trying to get across, when they visit your website, they should feel calm and relaxed. When they meet you in person, they should feel calm and relaxed. When they get an email from you, they should feel calm and relaxed, right? So you really need to focus on those you know, key specific things. And also like your photo branding. So maybe you've got an Instagram, Facebook page. Do they tell your brand story? Do all the photos look calm and relaxing, right? Your brand should be felt and shown through your entire business, whatever that looks like for you. If it's fun, fresh, snappy, you know, maybe it's all bright colors, awesome. But it needs to be felt 100% across the board, and everything needs to look and feel the same. So create that brand for your entire business. And also, I would go ahead and like create that brand book and standards for your entire team, right? This is how things should be done. Absolutely. You know, if you're just starting out, you know, for things like on your website, do those stylized photo shoots and make them look your brand. If it's bright and colorful, have that be your brand. Another thing that you can also look at is training your staff right now. So, I mean, if you want to grow, maybe you need to be creating that employee handbook. Create processes, procedures, so that your staff, you know, can approach event planning the same way that you do. And when I say processes, I mean like step by step of how you plan an event. So everything from how to conduct the consultation, the booking process, you know, the timeline of planning someone's event or wedding. These are all really great things to document in case you ever do hire staff, or if you have current staff, maybe you're sitting down creating the handbook and really reviewing it with your current staff so that, again, everybody is doing the same type of planning so that your clients are all getting that same feeling, again, the same brand. Another thing that you want to look at is marketing. So, I mean, look at your service packages and your messaging. Do your planning packages need a rehaul, right? Are you experienced? Have you been in business for 3-4 years and have the same packages? Well, maybe now that you've done, you know, 50 weddings, maybe it's time you upgrade. You have more experience. You should be getting paid more for your knowledge. It's finally the time to start charging what you're worth. So are you also price competitive with other local experts, right? And also, if there's a package that you never sell, why do you still have it? Why do you still advertise it? Trash it, right? Nobody buys that package from you. Obviously, nobody's interested in it, so get rid of it. Ditch it, create something new. Other things are, you guys, if you need to beef up your portfolio, or again, if you're just starting out, contact your favorite photographer, make some friends with some local vendors, and organize some sort of stylized photo shoot, right? Of something that maybe you even haven't done before. Like do a gothic Halloween wedding stylized shoot, fairy tale, beach theme, whatever you want that you think that's going to be attractive in your area, right? Rustic is super popular right now, so create a rustic theme. It should be really easy. There's lots of rustic stuff out there from your local stores. You probably have stuff laying around your house that you didn't even think of. You know, and then another thing that you can really look at is getting some PR for your business. So public relations. Guys, nothing is better than free advertising, right? And it's the perfect time to reach out to all of your local news outfits and come in for an interview, right? Pitch them on a really great idea. One of the best ideas right now is how to plan a wedding during COVID. The news crews eat that stuff up. So go ahead, pitch them the idea, go in there, dress up nice, and talk about some different options that they can do that. Talk about to them whatever you're an expert in, right? It's also a really great way to get yourself noticed. If you're just starting out, take and use what you know. So maybe it's how to plan a great birthday party for your child. You know, lots of people have children. You have children for your own. You've planned a birthday party for them. You've got experience. You can talk about that. And you can relate to other moms and dads who have kids, right? So there's lots of different options of things that you can really focus on. How to celebrate Father's Day from your house, right? What are some really great gifts for dad that you can use at a later time? Lots of really, really great options. And then lastly, take advantage of free education, guys. You know, there are so many local business groups, industry-related Facebook groups that you can join, right? So like QC's Pointers for Planners blog, you can do some research on there, gather some ideas. There's lots of webinars on different subjects, and not even just related to event planning, but just owning a business in general. You know, you can learn about a lot of different things. I just literally did a webinar about a month ago on everything that creative professionals need in their contracts. And the guy was a lawyer. It was absolutely eye-opening for me. I redid all my contracts. They are fabulous now, right? And I haven't redone my contracts in many years. So I really, and all free, I will say all free, right? So all you have to do is research this stuff and find it on Facebook and other social media outlets. There's so much out there. You can learn about bookkeeping, marketing, sales, and then really, I think the biggest takeaway is the stuff that you learn from those free educational webinars, you need to create a plan. So the things that you've learned, create a plan and put those into practice. So if you learned all these amazing things that you want to include in your contract, then go take your contract and redo it, right? So you can make the to-do list, that's great, but then you actually have to do the to-do list. And you guys are all event planners. I know you know how to to-do list because I do it all the time. and you should have no trouble creating it. Okay, so I've got a couple other things to talk about here. We're going to do some Q&A. I know that you guys have popped up a couple of Q&A on the chat on the side, but if you can go down to the bottom of your screen and just select the Q&A option if you haven't done already, and ask questions in there, that would be super awesome because it's hard to find them all on the chat on the side. But I'll see if I can scroll back just to answer a few. Let's see here. Yes, for those of you that don't know, a stylized shoot is basically a photo shoot. So when you're thinking about just starting out, you know, contact a local photographer, maybe you're a photographer yourself, and you want to set up like a tablescape. So set up a table, decorate it all nice, you know, put beautiful chairs around it. If you have a friend who got recently married, maybe he or she could wear their wedding attire and pose, and they can pretend that it's their wedding. Then you can have a photographer take a bunch of pictures and then use those photos as part of your portfolio. You and your photographer can share them, right? That's the mutual agreement there. And photographers aren't super busy either right now, right? That's everybody in the wedding industry. So you'll probably find them more than happy to come out, take pictures. If you're going to organize it and set it all up, they will be able to photograph it for you. And then you'll have professional photos for your website. Let's see. Can I describe what a package should include? It all depends on where you're from and what you want to be a part of your wedding package. Like, so for me personally, you know, I have a complete wedding planning package. So that's me planning their whole entire wedding from scratch. And we do it based on the size of their wedding. So, you know, someone who's going to have 150 people at their wedding would pay less than someone who's going to have 500 people at their wedding. So it's just kind of creating a package of, this is what we do, you know, in this certain package, this is how much it's going to cost. Other types of packages that we have are like a month of coordination, in which they plan all their wedding themselves, and then we come in about a month out and kind of do all of the month of coordination, and then we're there on the day of, and we do that for a separate fee. So you can break it up into custom packages like that. But again, it depends on every area that you're in. You know, some areas don't work like that. In Central Canada, that's kind of what we do. Okay, so I'm gonna pop open the Q&A. Okay, so how do we entertain our guests during the virtual party? As an event planner, I would highly recommend that you hire an entertainer, right? I don't think as the event planner, it's your job to entertain the guests. I would definitely look at, you know, having someone do all that entertainment for you, regardless of what that entertainment is. You know, maybe you're going to have a DJ. He doesn't have to be at the event. He could just be providing some entertainment, or, you know, a singer or that kind of thing from their own respective place. And then it just flashes to them when they're going to do, you know, a song, that type of thing, to keep people entertained. But I definitely wouldn't look at managing it yourself, right? Definitely outsource, because you're going to be focusing on a lot of other different things. Okay, so you're planning an event, and your stakeholders or partners, they want to cancel rather than moving to a virtual format. You know, unfortunately, it's completely up to them. It is their event, right? So I guess if you've already worked on their event and you're already currently planning it and they're paying you for it, I would try to sell them on what the virtual event would look like, and then maybe you can kind of try to persuade them into going virtual. If they don't think that it's going to be a fit for their business, you could always, you know, I wouldn't look at giving them their money back if you've got a signed contract with them, but maybe instead they're just paying you so far for like the work that you've done so far. But ultimately the decision is, you know, up to them. Right now, you are stressing on starting your event planning business. Don't stress. Take the time. You know, if you have questions, if you have concerns, reach out to other professionals, reach out to other event planners, talk to your tutor. you know, try to gather some more ideas on what you can do to get started, and go from there. You know, if you need help creating packages, talk to people in your local area. There are so many, like this is my philosophy, but there are so many great event and wedding planners probably from your local area, and they're always willing to help out new people. So if, you know, if I had someone in my area that said, hey, I'm a brand new event planner, I need help, what should I do? Right? And our markets are close to the same, I would definitely offer advice. So definitely reach out to people who have more experience than you, and they can definitely guide you through on, you know, some do's and don'ts when you start your business, right? How can you start your business? You'll have to contact the local people in your area. That's a super broad question. But you know, it's really focused on calling the local people in your area for what you need for like a business license, insurance, that kind of thing. Gather all that information now, and then when you're ready to launch, you'll have it all. So I mean, there are a few costs obviously involved with, you know, starting up, definitely. Yes, I mentioned sending out equipment, checking audio, lighting. How do you do that? So you want to get your tech company to do that. Again, it's outsourcing. You personally should not be managing things like the online live feed, you know, if you're going to be live on Facebook or Zoom or that kind of thing. Have the tech company do that, and then make sure that they are sending out, you know, the proper stuff to people and running those checks, right? So if you're having a conference, the tech company is responsible for sending out the audio visual equipment, making sure everybody's got proper lighting, you know, proper speakers on their computer, that type of thing. Outsource, outsource, outsource. What's the easiest and most cost-efficient way to build your inventory? I struggle with what you mean by inventory. If you're thinking rentals, if you're just starting out and you're doing like decor jobs, I would look at, there's lots of Facebook groups that are buy and sell. And if you notice that something is really popular in your area that people are looking for, start with those. Get your basics. You know, unfortunately, when you're building inventory and you're getting stuff for rentals, if you're going to do decor, there is a huge cost to that. But if everybody in your area is renting beautiful Shafari chairs, and that's what's popular right now, that's what you should get. Don't go and get every color of sash and chair cover and tablecloth under the moon. Don't do that. Get your staples like white, black, gray, whatever you need. And then as you get people looking for a lot of the same color, that's when you get those items, right? So they're like almost like a special order in for everybody's wedding. Please suggest some ideas for where to start. If you want good experience, if you need experience before you start your business, volunteer, right? Anywhere, just volunteer. Call up all your local nonprofits. Ask to volunteer for them. They always have events that are happening, regardless of whether they're virtual or not, and tell them your skills, right? You don't even have to pitch to them that you're going to be an event planner or anything like that. They're not interested in that. They need bodies, they need help. So get out there and volunteer for different events. While you're volunteering for these events, you can be doing lots of networking. You can learn lots of experience, and it's really going to help you build a lot of skills doing different things, because all of those skills are transferable, whether you're doing a nonprofit event, you know, a corporate gala, a wedding, they're all transferable. So definitely get out there and volunteer. Contact your local, you know, established companies already. Did they need staff? Maybe you can help them out, you know, on their upcoming weddings. Volunteer your services, right? I mean, they might be hesitant to take on a volunteer, but maybe they need a decor assistant for a handful of weddings. It's a really great way to get your foot in the door. As far as reviews and photo galleries, what should you put on your website? Again, I would really look at doing those stylized photo shoots. Would be definitely something big. Is it unprofessional to use, you know, photos from your personal events? It really depends on the quality of the photo. So, I mean, if for example, let's say you planned your own wedding and you took a bunch of snapshots on your phone, they might not look super good. or, you know, you planned your kid's birthday party in your living room, your house, or something like that, and it's all plastic tablecloths. I mean, to each their own. I would recommend staying away from that, because clients coming in looking at that might not think that that's super professional. But like, for example, if you plan your own wedding and you hired a photographer and they took some really great shots of, you know, maybe you made your own bouquet, maybe you decorated the tables yourself, ask your photographer if you can use those photos and put those on your website, because that is your work. It was your wedding that you planned and you decorated. But make sure you give credit to that photographer, or have that photographer's logo, you know, on the photos, that type of thing, and then really just start building your gallery from there. If you don't have any professional photos at the moment, you can always look into stock photos to get you started. There's lots of websites that you can use stock photos. I really love Unsplash. I'm gonna type it in the chat here for you. It's one of my favorite websites to use stock photos from. When I was first starting out my business, I really loved it. They've got a good variety of different types of photos on there. But again, yeah, there's lots of really great options. What would you charge as an hourly rate for a new event planner? It really depends on your area and what it can hold, right? If you're a brand new planner, you might want to charge a little bit less because you don't have as much experience, but don't charge so little that you undercut all the other event planners in your area by a lot, because they don't like that. And you're thinking, oh, it's a really great way to get a competitive edge. People will book me because I charge a lot less. That's not a good thing either, because actually clients are smart and they see that and they go, oh, everybody else charges, you know, $75 an hour, but you only charge $20 an hour. So maybe you're just not very good. So those are really things to keep in mind. Clients aren't dumb. And so those are things that they really look at. You have no money coming in and you just started an event planning business. What do I recommend? I would recommend planning. Plan what you want your website to look like. Plan what the pages are going to look like, what the layout's going to be. Plan, you know, a bunch of stylized shoots. And then, you know what, this is a great time to do some networking, right? Networking costs you nothing. So pick up the phone and make a list of 30 photographers in your area. Pick up the phone, say hello. Hi, I'm Martha. You know, I'm starting an event planning business. I would love to learn more about your fabulous photography business so that I could, you know, be able to recommend you to clients. Network, get people to know who you are, right? This absolutely costs nothing. And eventually you need to get yourself out there anyways. So go ahead and do that. You've got the time to do it now. Let's see, what else do we have here? Is it wise to buy a lot of decor stock? Depends on your market. I know, again, that's a thing that keeps coming up, but I would say at this point, probably not. Buy what you need, buy the basics. And then when you have a lot of clients coming in looking for specific things, that's when I would go ahead and, you know, buy what you need at that time, right? So, I mean, if you do a lot of smaller weddings where it's going to be like 150 people or less, you don't need to buy 500 chair covers in the same color, right? So just buy what you need, because obviously you don't want to be spending a lot of money this time. When are you too old to begin your business? You are never too old to begin your business. If you are 70 years old and you have really great experience, start your business. Who cares if you're in business for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? Do what you can. And the other thing is maybe you are 70 years old and you want to start your event planning business. Start it, right? You have a value. You have experience and knowledge to give people. And you might think, oh, well, people aren't going to listen to me because I'm, you know, a 70-year-old wedding planner. Well, no, not true. There are always people out there looking for experienced people. And maybe when you're planning your business, you're focusing on the wrong client, right? Maybe you don't want to be planning weddings for 20-year-olds. Maybe you want to plan weddings for 50-year-olds who are having their second second marriages, right? Your smaller intimate weddings, that type of thing. Maybe you just want to focus on corporate. That's great too. You are never too old. Also, you guys, you are never too young. So don't think that either. If you're like 19 years old and you're like, no one's going to take me seriously. No, they will. I started my business in my early 20s. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, no one's going to take me seriously. No, they do, right? Because they are looking for someone to help them. Will I need to study planning as well before I start my business? You can offer only event planning design and not full event planning. Absolutely. You can be just a decorator. You can be just a designer. You could just do destination weddings if you want. It's your business. Do what is right for you. You don't have to, you don't have to do full event planning or anything. If you just want to do decorating, just do that. How do you keep your portfolio on brand but diverse enough for your clients? Absolutely. So here's the thing. Let's say, you know, you're thinking, oh, well, my brand is I do rustic weddings. Well, that's great that you specialize in rustic weddings, but if you want to do all different types of weddings, maybe you want to do a classic wedding, maybe you want to do something else, right? I'm not saying that you just need to focus on only doing one type of look. What I'm saying is that all your photos should look the same on your Instagram, that kind of thing. So regardless of whether you have like a gothic Halloween event and then right beside it you're going to do a post of a rustic wedding, if your brand is like bright and colorful and fun, it should be a bright, colorful, fun picture of the rustic wedding and a bright, colorful, fun picture of the gothic Halloween party. So that's what I'm talking about when you want to focus on your brand looking the same. Definitely do lots of different types of events, but really focus on having, you know, all of your pictures look cohesive. I want to do a stylized shoot in the middle of pandemic in New York. Do it. Why not? Just make sure you're safe, right? I mean, you set it up, have someone else come take the photos, make sure you wear masks, stay far away from each other, you know, 6-10 feet, that type of thing. Definitely do it. Absolutely. I'm planning lots of stylized shoots this summer because so many of my weddings are, you know, have canceled or postponed. Let's see here. You guys have so many questions, and I know we're going over. So I'm gonna just look at a couple of more questions here, and then I'm gonna wrap up, guys. Let's see here. Do you think pandemics will be included in non-refundable deposits going forward? I would think so. You know, it's definitely something to look into. Definitely talk to your lawyer about the different options for that. You know, in most contracts already, you'll see, you know, deposits, retainers are non-refundable due to acts of God. You know, recently, and again, of course, Canada and US is going to be very different. Not mentioning like UK, Africa, for those of you that are here from Ghana, Nigeria, that type of thing. But I mean, all laws are different everywhere, so it's really important that you contact your lawyer to find out, you know, can pandemics be included in that non-refundable retainer for the future? Let's see. What website's really great to build my first website? I love WordPress. That's my biggest, I love WordPress, but there's definitely some other really, really great ones out there. Do I have any tips for feeling of closeness between guests at virtual events that tend to feel distant? I think it's really creating that emotion. So for example, you know, for a corporate event, I would never really get warm and fuzzies from those anyways. But if you're doing like something like a wedding, I would look at, you know, really creating the emotional side of it. So really have emotional toasts, have the bride and groom write their own vows, because it really makes people feel a little bit closer. So yeah, it's just really play on that emotion. So sorry guys, I'm not going to be able to answer all of your questions. I'd absolutely love to be able to do that, but we're just not going to have enough time. But all of your questions have been absolutely fabulous. So I just want to do another quick poll. So what topic would you like our next webinar to be on? We'll just do that super quick here. If you guys want, you can request me as your tutor. I would love to work in each and every one of you, and then I can answer all your questions personally. If you want to request me, I'd love to work with you guys. And again, make sure you join that virtual classroom on Facebook so that you can learn, you know, more about the school, more about your courses, and then again, you can, you know, connect with lots of fellow students and receive a bunch of guidance on your courses and assignments, that type of thing, if you have any questions. Yeah, I have a couple of my students are here. Tess is here, Ashley, yes, you guys are fabulous. There's the link there for the virtual classroom again. And the poll is, okay. Yes, all of the above. They're all really important. Mistakes to avoid as an event planner. Absolutely. There are a lot of things that you want to make sure that you don't do wrong. I can tell you, being in business for 10 years, there's a lot of stuff that I've done that I wish I never did. So many things, but that's okay. So again, you guys, if you want to follow me on social media, it's Imagine Events SK. How can you request me? Just when you guys sign up, just request me. Just request Angela Hodel, and I would be happy to, you know, help you out. So thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you will join us again on another webinar. I'm glad you guys have learned a lot. Thank you so much. There you go. They've typed it in there. Send them an email. I'd love to tutor you. Thank you guys. You guys are fabulous. Look at all of these thank yous. So awesome. Good night, guys. Have a good sleep. Don't be stressed. You got this.